This video is brought to you by Virtual Shield's VPN service. A VPN stands for Virtual Private Network, and it's basically an app that you install on your computer or mobile device that encrypts your information and protects it from hackers and greedy websites trying to track your data. Having a VPN can save you from instances like your credit card information being found or somebody hacking into your home security system. Cheap, helpful, extremely easy to use. Check out Virtual Shield's VPN on sale now. Links will be in the description below. What's up, guys? Welcome to Destroying the Illusion and welcome to Monday. We're starting this week off hot already, so this is going to be a good show. And let's get into it by talking about these rumors that were circulating all around last night about this country going into basically a 2-week full quarantine. I saw these alleged text messages getting circulated around that said, oh, I just had this 2-hour briefing and within the next 48 to 72 hours, the president's going to evoke something called the Stafford Act. And that's going to send us into a 2-week quarantine. That's what the message I saw said. Well, here's a couple things about that. First thing, the National Security Council went and tweeted about this because I guess it went viral enough, and they said it's straight fake. Straight fake, okay? Second thing, if you actually look into this, the president already evoked the Stafford Act. That's what he evoked a few days ago when he declared the national emergency around this, and there was nothing having to do with a 2-week quarantine in that evoking of the Stafford Act. So this was completely fake news that somebody circulated around for whatever reason, but nevertheless, make sure you fact check. Have the sauce, have the evidence before you go and just share stuff, okay? Moving on to our next story, let's talk about a few aspects of this coronavirus situation since it's just not going away. First thing, just an article I wanted to note here because I found it interesting. This was out of New Zealand, right? So in New Zealand, it's basically becoming, they're calling it a safe haven because a bunch of super wealthy, rich people are flying there on their private jets right now. So this is just some data to support that idea that maybe some elites are using this coronavirus situation as an excuse, a cover story for a bug out plan. They're ducking out to their, I don't know, underground caverns or whatever the heck they have. Maybe some of them are. Moving on, let's talk about that vaccine, okay? So today in Seattle, the company called Moderna is undergoing the very first trials, literally the first injections for their new coronavirus vaccine that they are rushing onto the market in record time. I think it was like just over 60 days, maybe 65 days that this vaccine went from beginning research to now official trials, which is incredibly fast. It's the record even. And I mean, I'll pass 100%. Reject the poison, guys. But this is what's interesting about this is that this is being rushed onto the market so fast that even the normies out there, those who aren't so awake or aware of all these happenings, even they're beginning to question. I saw some comments of reports on this story, and those comments said, you know, it's going to be tough to quash the conspiracy theories having to do with this story because, man, they rust this shit out. And of course, you look at pretty much every single company that has a coronavirus vaccine they're trying to make right now, they all have some sort of tie-in to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And then, of course, the World Health Organization and World Economic Forum usually too, but especially that Gates Foundation. So the more this all gets drawn out, the more people are just waking up by the thousands, by the millions. So, hey, on the other side of this, there's just going to be a lot more awake and aware humans. That's all we know. Next, let's chat about a little remark that the president said during his coronavirus briefing today. He's been holding some questions almost every day now, doing a little bit of Q&A with some reporters in the White House. And he made a very intriguing remark today. He was talking about the coronavirus's impact on different sectors of our economy. I think at this particular point, he was talking about its impacts on the airline industry. And the president went and said,
as far as the airlines are concerned, the airlines, we're going to back the airlines 100%. It's not their fault. It's nobody's fault unless you go to the original source.
You know, it's nobody's fault. We're going to support the airlines. It's nobody's fault unless you go to the original source. What? He just threw that sentence in there real quick and then moved on to saying it was nobody's fault and continued the conversation. But what was that? What's that original source there, Mr. President? I want to know more about that. That's some interesting words for him to throw in there. Speaking of what the president is telling us, how about this tweet today that he put out late last night, actually? I saw it earlier this morning. And in this tweet, it was a short video, about a minute long, of some tips on, hand washing and staying away from crowds, things like that. Just tips to stay safe during this coronavirus situation. Well, check this out. At about 21 seconds into this video, they had the words "practice good hygiene" start to fade out. The individual letters actually started to fade out, and they were moving on to the next scene, the next sequence in this video. As the O's faded out in the word "good," they turned into Q's very quickly. Now, every single letter they had faded out. And they did this for the plausible deniability, of course. Every single letter faded into another letter as it was fading off the screen, but the O's turned into Q's, and they were much more obvious than the rest of the letters. I, in fact, didn't even see the rest of the letters. I just saw the O's turn into Q's. Q proof's still coming, man. Business as usual at Q Team headquarters. Good to see, man. Good to see. And I think, again, they've got everything under control. I went and stocked up a little bit today, I'll be honest. I got a few rations, cans of soup, non-perishables, things like that. The toilet paper was out, so I had to get the frickin' facial tissues. But I think everything's going to turn out A-okay. And then the president also tweeted about General Michael Flynn yesterday. And in his tweet about General Flynn, check this out. He said, "It's reported after destroying his life and the life of his wonderful family, the FBI, working in conjunction with the DOJ, has, quote, lost. They lost the records of General Michael Flynn." Uh-huh. Yeah, that means they destroyed them. They destroyed them because they didn't want them out, because it would probably incriminate them. So the president went and said, "How convenient. I am strongly considering a full pardon, which would be great. But let's be real. General Michael Flynn did nothing wrong and did nothing illegal, and they tried to set him up. So a pardon insinuates that somebody was convicted, and then that conviction is just being lifted by the presidential pardon. In this case, there's no conviction. There should be no conviction. So General Flynn's name should get exonerated and cleared, and the case should be dropped point blank. But if we don't get that because for some reason we still got some corrupt judges out there, corruption within the DOJ, whatever reason, then great. POTUS is going to give him a full pardon, which he's well deserving of, and it'd be great. It'd be great to get General Flynn back into the game. And by that, I mean back into the game publicly, because who knows what he's doing behind the scenes right now. But it'd be great when that happens. Not if, but when. And speaking of General Michael Flynn, holy crap. Did you hear the comments that have been going around that she made this past weekend? She made them at a talk at Hillsdale College in Washington, D.C., which they've been having some pretty interesting interviews there. I remember General Stephen Quast, that retired Air Force general who was going around talking about the Space Force, and he had some really interesting comments go viral about technologies that we actually already have that are kind of in secret. Anyway, he did that speech at Hillsdale College. Now they had Sidney Powell there, General Michael Flynn's lawyer, and she was dropping some bombs about the Wiener laptop, about Clinton's emails, about what was found on that Wiener laptop. She was even talking about if that laptop was able to be found and get into the right, honest hands within the military or the government, that there would be a lot of prosecutions that would be able to be had from that laptop. I'll play a quick clip of what she was saying.
675,000 Clinton emails when they got Anthony Weiner's laptop in a search warrant because of all his sex perversion issues. It was all the Clinton emails, the Clinton Foundation, her Secretary of State emails, Huma Abedin's emails. Lots of people emailed Huma as a proxy for Hillary. So one of the things, if I were the president, I'd do is demand the Anthony Weiner laptop and get it to the most trusted person in the military to take apart everything on it and then start using it. There's a lot that can be prosecuted, I have no doubt, on that laptop. In fact, I heard that the New York police officers who saw some of it, even though they're hardened investigators, literally had to go throw up. It's bad.
Woo! That is some heavy hitting stuff right there. And nobody I would want more to be General Flynn's lawyer than Sidney Powell right there. So I don't think any of that is done. Hillary Clinton's emails, the Weiner laptop, even maybe we could throw in that whole Pizzagate topic in there. None of that's done. We're going to be learning some good stuff. I think maybe coming up this spring or summer, we'll talk about that, having to do with the Clinton Foundation and all of that swamp corruption in regards to such. Moving on to the last few stories here. Huge CEO resignation dropping today. Lockheed Martin's CEO. And my gosh, this is really hitting like an all-time high now. It's been high. CEO resignations, high profile, board of directors, corporate resignations, things like that. It's definitely been on the upswing since, especially Q started posting in 2017, 2018, 19, you know. But 2020 now, especially this last month, holy crap, man. Remember, Disney CEO, bunch of other corporations as well, and then Lockheed, okay? You got to understand how big Lockheed is in the military-industrial complex world. I mean, we're talking Black Projects, what's really gone on at their Skunk Works, and all their other satellite programs that are outside of their main offices. What's gone on in their Black Projects, man, their secret space programs. What kind of technologies has Lockheed Martin been involved with, i.e. not just propulsion, but also having to do with electromagnetic technologies and all sorts of other stuff out there, man. I mean, this is huge. And I think this, we'll see how it might play into the disclosure of said technologies and said programs, and maybe even do what the Space Force has and can bring out. We'll see. Big one right there, though. Note it. And then moving on to talking a little bit about these Democratic debates. Now, I'm not going to spend more than like 30 seconds on this topic. I didn't even know the Democratic debates were going on until like 7 p.m. last night when I saw somebody on Twitter share some videos from the debates, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. It's like...
For example, he came along and said, I got a great idea. Well, you're going to tell
Senator
me.
Sanders.
The Ebola crisis, in my view, exposes the dysfunctionality of our healthcare system.
Dumb and Dumber. I don't even know what it was. But I saw this quick clip of Joe Biden just, malfunction. He instantly stops talking. And then the questioner asked Sanders a question, and he gets the name of coronavirus totally mixed up. He called it Ebola. Oh, God. This is just going to be a shit show. I can't wait. I can't wait till come closer to November and election time. It's just going to be grand. However it happens, either of these goons is going to get destroyed. And then last story, speaking of progression through this year, news on John Durham's report. John Durham's probe is expected to end this summer. Some are saying as early as July. Others are saying it could last till September. Don't know, but as Q recently said in a drop in late February, it's going to be a very hot spring and summer. It's already been hot. Holy crap. All this stuff going on with the coronavirus and things we're learning and the conspiracy theories that are just going viral. It's crazy how many people are waking up. I'm getting messages from people from high school I haven't talked to in 10 years, but I'm finding out they're following my stuff and they're like, holy crap, what are your thoughts on this coronavirus? Because it sounds like whatever you're plugged into, you know what's going on more than most. Like, it's incredible how people's minds are opening right now. So, very hot spring, very hot summer. We're not even to spring yet. And then John Durham's report is going to come at the perfect time. I don't doubt it. Once we get through all the hysteria that's going on right now, and people are more unified, more woke, more ready to, I guess, accept the president and accept some big changes too, we'll see Durham's report drop. And again, people are saying it's not going to be a report. It's not going to be a review. It's going to be boom, probe, boom, indictments. I don't doubt that. in due time. So get ready, folks. 2020 is going to be fun. It's going to be a big one. And that's where I'll leave you here. Thank you for watching. I'll be back soon, and I'll keep you updated. Thank you, everybody. Peace.